Welcome back, readers, to the Bible in a Year Tanakh Project podcast. This is day 3 of week 9, and we'll be reading today Deuteronomy 3 to 4. Of course, we'll be continuing from the complete Jewish Bible. So let's begin. Deuteronomy 3. Then we turned and went up to the road to Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan came out against us with all his people to fight at Edrei. Adonai said to me, "Don't be afraid of him, for I have handed him, all his people, and his territory over to you. You will do to him as you did to Sihon, king of Amorite, who lived at Heshbon." So Adonai our God also handed over to us Og the king of Bashan with all his people, and we defeated him until he had no one left. At that time we captured all his cities. There was not one city of theirs that we didn't capture. There were 60 cities, all the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og in Bashan, all of them fortified cities with high walls, gates, and bars, in addition to a great number of unwalled towns. We completely destroyed them, as we did with Sihon, king of Heshbon, annihilating every city, men, women, and little ones. But we took all the livestock, along with the spoil from the cities, as booty for ourselves. At that time, we captured the territory of the 2 kings of Amorite, east of the Yarden between the Arnon Valley and Mount Hermon. The Hermon which the Zidomen call Sirion and the Amorite call Snare. All the cities of the plain, all Gilead, and all Bashan, as far as Silka and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. Og, king of Bashan, was the last survivor of the Rephaim. His bed was made of iron. It is still in Rabbah with the people of Ammon. It was 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, using the normal cubit, 13.5 by 6 feet. Of this land that we took possession of then, I assigned to the Reubenite and the Gadai the territory extending from Aroer along the Arnon Valley, together with half the hill country of Gilead, including its cities, the rest of Gilead and all Bashan. The kingdom of Og I gave to the half tribe of Manasseh. The whole region of Argob, together with all of Bashan, form what is called the land of Rephaim. Yair, the son of Manasseh, took all the region of Argob as far as the border with the Jeshuri and the Mahakeitai. He named this whole area, including Bashan, after himself. It remains Havot Yair to this day. I gave Gilead to Mashir, and to the Reubenite and the Gadai I gave the territory of Gilead to the Arnon Valley, with the middle of the valley as the border, as far as the Yabok River, which is the border with the people of Ammon. The Aravite too, the Yarden, being its border, the Kinneret to the sea of the Arava, the Dead Sea at the foot of the slopes of Pigash to the east. At that time I gave you this order: Adonai your God has given you this land to possess. But all of you who are fit to fight must cross over, armed, ahead of your brothers, the people of Israel, your wives, your little ones, and your livestock. I know you have much livestock. Will stay in your cities, which I have given you. Maftir until Adonai allows your brothers to rest, as he has allowed you, and they too take possession of the land Adonai your God is giving them on the west side of Yarden. At that point you will return, each man to his own possession, which I have given you. Also at that time I gave this order to Joshua: your eyes have seen everything that Adonai, your God, has done to these two kings. Adonai will do the same to all kingdoms you encounter when you cross over. Don't be afraid of them, because Adonai, your God, will fight on your behalf. Then I pleaded with Adonai. Adonai Elohim, you have begun to reveal your greatness to your servant and your strong hand. For what other God is there in heaven or on earth that can do the works and mighty deeds that you do? Please, let me go across and see the good land on the other side of the Yarden, that wonderful hill country, and the Levonan. But Adonai was angry with me on the account of you, and he didn't listen to me. Adonai said to me, enough from you. Don't say another word to me about this matter. Climb up to the top of Pirash and look out to the west, north, south, and east. Look with your eyes, but you will not go across this Yarden. However, commission Yeshua, encourage him and strengthen him, for he will lead this people across and enable them to inherit the land that you will see. So we stayed in the valley across from Beit Peor. Deuteronomy 4. Now, Israel, listen to the laws and rulings I am teaching you in order to follow them so that you will live. Then you will go in and take possession of the land that Adonai, the God of your fathers, is giving you. In order to obey the mitzvot of Adonai your God, which I am giving you, do not add to what I am saying, and do not subtract from it. You saw with your own eyes what Adonai did at Biayl.Project, that Adonai destroyed from among you all the men who followed Biayl.Project. But you who stuck with Adonai your God are still alive today, every one of you. Look, I have taught you laws and rulings just as Adonai my God ordered me, so that you may behave accordingly in the land where you are going in order to take possession of it. Therefore, observe them and follow them, for then all people will see you as having wisdom and understanding. When they hear of all these laws, they will say, this great nation is surely a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has God as close to them as Adonai or God, whenever we call on him? What great nation is there that has laws and rulings as just as the entire Torah, which I am setting before you today? Only be careful and watch yourselves diligently as long as you live, so that you won't forget what you saw with your own eyes, so that these things won't vanish from your hearts. Rather, make them known to your children and grandchildren. The day you stood before Adonai your God at Horeb, when Adonai said to me, gather the people to me, and I will make them hear my very words, so that they will lean to hold me in awe as long as they live on earth, and so that they will teach their children. You approached and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain blazed with fire, to the heart of heaven with darkness, clouds, and thick mist. Then Adonai spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of words, but saw no shape. There was only a voice. He proclaimed his covenant to you, which he ordered you to obey, the 10 words, and he wrote them on 2 stone tablets. At that time, Adonai ordered me to teach you laws and rulings, so that you would live by them in the land you are entering, in order to take possession of it. Therefore, watch out for yourselves, since you did not see a shape of any kind on the day Adonai spoke to you in Horeb from the fire. Do not become corrupt and make yourselves a carved image having the shape of any figure, not a representation of human being, male or female, or a representation of any animal on earth, or a representation of any bird that flies in the air, or a representation of anything that creeps along on the ground, or representation of any fish in the water below the shoreline. For the same reason, do not look up at the sky, at the sun, moon, stars, and everything in the sky, and be drawn away to worship and serve them. Adonai your God has allotted these to all the peoples under the entire sky. No, you, Adonai, has taken and brought out of the smelting furnace, out of Egypt, to be a people of inheritance for him, as you are today. But Adonai was angry with me on account of you, and swore that I would not cross the Jordan and go into that land which Adonai your God is giving you to inherit. Rather, I must die in this land and not cross the Jordan, but you are to cross and take possession of that good land. Watch out for yourselves so that you won't forget the covenant of Adonai your God, which he made with you, and make yourself a carved image, a representation of anything forbidden to you by Adonai your God. For Adonai your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you have had children and grandchildren, lived a long time in the land, become corrupt, and made a carved image, a representation of something, and thus done what is evil in the sight of Adonai your God and provoked him. I call on the sky and the earth to witness against you today that you will quickly disappear from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You will not prolong your days there, but will be completely destroyed. Adonai will scatter you among the peoples and among the nations to which Adonai will lead you away. You will be left there few in number. There you will serve gods which are the product of human hands, made of wood and stone, which can't see, hear, eat, or smell. However, from there you will seek Adonai your God, and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and being. In your distress, when all these things have come upon you, in the Arsharit, Hayamin, you will return to Adonai your God and listen to what he says. For Adonai your God is the merciful one. He will not fail you, destroy you, or forget the covenant with your ancestors which he swore to them. Indeed, inquire about the past before you were born, since the day God created human beings on earth, from one end of heaven to the other. Has there ever been anything as wonderful as this? Has anyone heard anything like it? Did any other people ever hear the voice of God speaking out of fire as you have heard and stay alive? Or has God ever tried to go and take for himself a nation from the very bowels of another nation by means of ordeals, signs, wonders, war, and a mighty hand, an outstretched arm, and great terrors, like all that Adonai your God did for you in Egypt before your very eyes? This was shown to you so that you would know that Adonai is God, and there is no other beside him. From heaven he caused you to hear his voice, in order to instruct you, and on earth he caused you to see his great fire, and you heard his very words coming from the fire. Because he loved your ancestors, chose their descendants after them, and brought you out of Egypt with his presence and great power, in order to drive out ahead of you nations greater and stronger than you, so that he could bring you in and give you their land as an inheritance, as is the case today. Know today and establish it in your heart that Adonai is God in heaven above and on earth below. There is no other. Therefore, you are to keep his laws and the mitzvot which I am giving you today, so that it will go well with you and with your children after you, and so that you will prolong your days in the land Adonai your God is giving you forever. Then Moshe separated 3 cities on the east side of the Jordan toward the sunrise, to which a killer might flee. That is, someone who kills by mistake a person whom he did not previously hate, and upon fleeing to one of these cities might live there. The cities were Betzer in the desert, in the flat land, for the Reubenite, Ramoth in Gilead, for the Gadai, and Golan in Bashan for the Manasseh. This is the Torah which Moshe placed before the people of Israel. These are the instructions, laws, and rulings which Moshe presented to the people of Israel after they had come out of Egypt. Beyond the Jordan River, in the valley across from Beit Peor, in the land of Shikon, king of the Amorite, who lived at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the people of Israel defeated when they came out of Egypt. And they took possession of his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, the 2 kings of Amorite, who were beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise. From Aroer on the edge of the Ammon Valley to Mount Sion, that is Mount Hermon, with all the Arava beyond the Jordan eastward, all the way to the Dead Sea at the foot of the slopes of Pigash. Here ended today's reading. Amen. Be sure to join us tomorrow where we'll continue in God's Word. Until then, blessings.